How you doing, everyone? I hope you're very well. Welcome back to Braw Cast here on Monday night. Sorry, I was a mad dash there to see if I could find my headphones, and I have not. So you're just going to have to put up with my full mug and view. We've got an amazing show for you tonight. First of all, I'll tell you what, wherever you're watching, do me a favour, hit that share button so we can get as many people watching tonight, because tonight our guest is Peter Murphy, who some of you may know as the Pirate King himself from Pirate King TV and a whole bunch of other things. He's going to run in a second. Pro wrestler, biker, cook. So much to get through tonight. So before we do that, as we always like to do, whatever you're watching tonight, hit me up with a hello in the comments. First of all, let us know where you're watching from. It's always nice to say, first of all, say hi to Timmy Fleming, who's watching from Scotland, where we all are. Cheers to you, mate. Welcome to 2020. And again, we've got a brilliant guest on. So if you have any questions, even during the course of the show, do me a little favor, hit us up in the comments. And I'm sorry if you can hear the noise of my kids having a breakdown in the background. Excuse me, 1 second. Stop us if we get too professional. All right, let's get things moving. First of all, very, very excited to bring on the guest. We've got a couple more people coming on to say hello. Always awesome. First of all, Sandy Smith, a friend of ours. How you doing, brother? Hope you're very well. David Wallace, Lindsay Houston, and Colin, of course, watching from all the way over by. Let's get this going. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest I've known for quite a while, and I'm very excited to have him back here on Braw Cast. Let's hear it for, if you would, the Pirate King himself, Peter Murphy. Peter, how the devil are you, mate? Oh no, we've got no sound. We've got no sound, Peter. We've got no sound. Let me try this again. Hello, Peter? Oh, my goodness. Do you want to try and give us a bit of chat, Peter? Can you hear me? All right. So, what? We might be struggling a little bit again to say, there you are.
That better?
There you go, bud. You're back. These fancy earbuds have let us down. What the bloody hell is going on? Peter, how the devil are you, mate?
I'm fantastic now that I've got the apple cancer out of my ears and you can actually hear my dulcet tones. How are you, mate?
You know, I'm good, man. I'm good. I've got to admit, I'm so bloody jealous of people that can get earbuds in their ears, because I'll level with you. I don't know if this is the reason I've got long hair. My ears are fucking massive. Nah, I can't, like, honestly, I'd have to put a gramophone in my ear in order to be able to use them. So I'm not but jealous. We're right tonight, mate. It looks like you're indeed in the Pirate Kitchen. Is that right?
Got to work the brand, plus the fact that my children are a bit older.
Yes.
And an awful lot noisier. So I came out here for a little bit of peace and quiet and solace. So it's it's good. Spend some quality time out here doing stuff. Just popping out to the kitchen, couple of just doing some stuff. So yeah,
how many hours?
It's all good.
How many hours a day? How many hours a day do you reckon you're in the kitchen just doing stuff?
Funnily enough, statistically, it only seems to happen that when my wife and daughter are actually here.
All right.
Which I guess it's a modern of, I don't know whether it's luck or good fortune or coincidence, Billy. So.
Well, I tell you what, we thank them for letting you let us get a little bit of time with you, mate. We really appreciate that. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, I mean, the kitchen, it looks, there's so much to cover, Peter. Like, I was just thinking, there's so much to cover. I mean, we've had some pretty diverse mofos on this, but pro wrestler, biker, promoter, we got to throw that in there as well.
Why not?
And of course, and now cook. So, and of course, you've got yourself the mighty beard as well. We're going to have plenty of talk about that in just a second. We've got to kick things off with wrestling, right? Because you come from an era of transition in professional wrestling. I think it'd be kind of fair to say.
The caretakers, as we call it. Me and Magic and Adam, we were the caretakers. We kept the lights on between World of Sport going off the air and obviously the resurgence with ICW and all the great stuff that Mark's done out there. So yeah, we went and wrestled in front of sometimes very small crowds, sometimes very big crowds, but yeah.
But you know, the thing that always got me in watching a whole bunch of the old videos and stuff and clips that David Wilson's actually been putting some amazing pictures and stuff online recently. If anyone gets an opportunity from back in the SWA days. In fact, I can tell you this. This is a weird one for you. I was actually under the arches at their news. They've got like a new zombie by the guys in the Alien Wars. And what's one of their props is an old SWA sign, because Scottish Wrestling Alliance used to run shows down there once upon a time. Just sitting there.
Yes, well, we used to run, and I'm sure Mark will back this up, we actually ran over 18 shows in Glasgow venues at night before ICW did, called SWA After Hours. They were shit. in comparison to the ICW product, but it's amazing. It just goes to show the difference and all the talent that Mark's got and all the talent I don't have. That, you know, he took the ball, ran with it, and he's now got a globally recognised wrestling company available on the WWE network, which I believe people can tune into that and see your handsome mug.
I have heard of it, and I pop up from time to time. Then I start speaking and fucking ruin it all. And again, I'd like to thank you for all the tweets from people in America that don't understand a word of it. And yes, we do swear that much. But I love the idea. First of all, I've got all the love in the world for Adam Shame. He's honestly one of my favorite people in wrestling. Just what an absolute sweetheart. But talking about yourselves, the Caretaker. So what led to you getting in the ring? Because this is a period in time where, I mean, it was a very few that got the opportunity. Like you mentioned, World of Sport, wrestling was off the TV. WWE or WWF, as it would have been back then, was on the rise. So where did you find yourself that you went, I'm going to pursue this, and how did you do it?
So before all the wonderful compliments you gave me earlier on, I actually had a whole life before that. I used to throw the discus and the hammer for Scotland and Great Britain, and then I played American football and was lucky enough to play for the Scottish national team.
Amazing.
And I always made the joke, see when I retire from this shit, I'm going to go and be one of the wrestlers. And I was sitting one day, and I was just sitting. I mean, I'd watched wrestling. I grew up watching it, and World of Sport. I'm old enough to remember World of Sport when it was actually on the telly. And I remember seeing something. It wasn't in a wrestling mag. It was some, can't remember, but it was basically NWA Hammerlock were having tryouts. So I thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. So I just finished my last season playing football.
Right.
And I was because British American football is very much the same as British wrestling used to be. A lot of great guys, a lot of guys that give a lot of their time, but horrendously underfunded. So American football team, you're meant to have an offensive team and a defensive team. A lot of guys in our league played both ways, giggly. And it meant that you would start if you were lucky and you tried out for the Claymores and you got training with the Claymores. You started on the 27th of January. That's when your season started.
Whoa! In the middle of winter almost.
Yeah, and then Brankham Hall up in East Kilbride. You know, there's some for your American guests to look up. That's certainly not California. And you would go through there. You would go all the way through the World League season, or NFL Europe as it became trendily known as. You would then do your domestic season. You would go through your domestic season. If you made the playoffs, you had another 4 weeks of games. You went from playing the playoffs to into the international. So you'd at least 4 internationals. So we were like having our last game at the end of October. Now that's a really long season when you're playing offense and defense.
Bloody hell! And was this during the period where, and a lot of people won't remember this, it was the world. I want to say the World Bowl League, but I don't think that's what it was called.
It was originally called the World League. Nobody went to see it. And they rebranded it NFL Europe, and they put some like third round draft picks in it, just to get a bit of international interest.
Because I can remember it did air on Scottish television. I remember that. I remember at one point, and people can look this up. William Refrigerator Perry was part of this league, which people might know as the Fridge. Go back to WrestleMania 2, makes an appearance in there as well. Gavin Hastings, I think, became a kicker.
Yep. Gavin Hastings played a couple of seasons. There was Jeff Capes's boy. I want to say Sean, but that might not be his name. He played for the London Monarchs as well. But yeah, no, there was a few real people kind of popped into it, tried it for an afternoon and went, nope, not for me.
Well, I can see
anyway.
The gentleman that was a commentator, hosted the British show, the Scottish show. Gentleman that was the commentator for them is actually an actor, and I bumped into him on a set. I couldn't recognise him, but there was something about this fella that I stared at, going, "I know I've seen this guy's face. I know I've seen this guy's face." And then suddenly it spilled. He was in the Dark Knight. He's in the Dark Knight. Look for him, there he is. He pops up. God, it's crazy. So you went from that background. We got an athletic.
We're sitting there going, do you know what? I was talking to Tracy. I goes, look, I was relatively young at this point. Well, comparatively. I said, I'm not playing another season because my knees were starting to bother me then. And I thought, if I do another season of this, it's not going to end well. So then I decided to spend 15 years throwing myself through tables and off of balconies and setting myself on fire. But my knees were fine. So went down to this tryout. So I went down. It was a long weekend thing.
Do you remember where it was? Was this in London? Was this the likes of Andre Baker back in the day?
Andre Baker, God rest his soul. Yep. He was the promoter and the owner. Met a very young Johnny Moss, a very young Fergal Devitt, who people
never have
Finn Balor, Paul Tracy. What was the other guy who does the indie circuit, does a lot of Japan, proper mat wrestler. It'll come back to me. So we're down there for the tryout and was probably the only guy over 6 foot there. There was a lot of wrestling fans, we'll say. And there's nothing wrong with wrestling fans, God bless them. But some of them think, I'll give that a go, and they came down that weekend and they gave it a go, and they were unsuccessful. So I came from semi-professional sports, turned up. I was 270, 6'3", 270. I've never been in great shape, but for me, I was in good nick. I just came off a full season that was relatively injury-free.
But just to clarify with people, because I think people do sometimes look at the physical appearance of wrestlers, but they don't understand these so much hours of cardio that needs to get done. The ring miles. Like, honestly, as someone that's only done a small amount of training just to put his money where his mouth is, running those ropes, those drills and what have you, you need to be the cardio shape, your internal shape you need to be in. And you mentioned it there. Someone that goes out and plays footballs with their pal on a Sunday afternoon, that's one thing, but doing wrestling drills and having the athleticism to be able to make that step, it's a huge thing.
It is. And the thing I noticed very early on, and it's something I'd taken for granted for so many years, was if you get somebody who plays a bit of soccer of a weekend, fair dues to them. Guys that play rugby, fair dues to them. Maybe the rugby guys I'll appreciate this a bit more. But see, if you're running you flat out as fast as you possibly can, and you take a big hit, get back up on your feet and continue as if nothing had happened. That's what's expected to happen in wrestling. And even if it's a predetermined hit, it's still a hit. And you do get winded, and you do have to have that. And mentally, from a cognitive point of view, you have to remember what's happening next. So you take a bang, you don't tuck your chin in, you take yourself you do yourself a light Matt Hardy on the canvas, and then you shit, what's coming next? And the next thing could be somebody coming off the top rope, and you're not ready. So it's having that kind of full impact or blunt force trauma fitness of being able to work without breathing out your arse. Which I'm not going to say that I'm the poster boy when I was wrestling for cardiovascular fitness, but you need to have that, and that's a thing that people who come along to training sessions, they don't get right away. It's the fact of this is brilliant, this is fine, bang, okay, I don't like this anymore. and they have to move on. So I was down at the camp, and we were doing some drills and stuff like that. And the way the Hammerlock camps worked was we would get a couple of the existing roster members to walk amongst you like earthbound gods to peruse the new talent or the lack of that was available. And this skinny, long-haired woman of a man so I was watching our group, and we were trying to get us to do flip bumps. And he came over and it's like, look, if you guys are not comfortable doing any of this, don't do it. Something like that. So I hoisted my 270 pounds into there and landed in a perfect back bump. And this man-child then told me, do that again. And that man-child has now been my best friend, or one of my best friends for the last 17 years, Magic, Mike Connell. So it was basically Mike that picked me out a group of about 25 guys, went over to Laundry and went, keep an eye on him. Right. And that kind of got me in the door a little bit. Me and Mike just hit it off for day one. The early part, because it's not like it is now where there's live shows, 5 minutes down the road. If I wanted to wrestle, I had to go to England. Yeah. And if I was going to go to England to wrestle, I had to go to. I went done the 2-week tours, so I was taking time off the day job and going and doing it, but not right away. So I went down for that weekend, got the bug, got hooked. I went down there with my gimmick completely in my head. I had my music and everything. To me, it's always been about set up the visual and then the rest of it will follow. Went down to the 2-week summer camp after that, during the summer, funnily enough. And that's, spent a lot of time with Fergal and Paul, and a lot of the guys who, went on to be, fairly big deals, Yeah. And after that, it was just turned up for tours. Magic had just started, he just opened his training school in Coventry. So I'd go down and do shows for him. And then probably couple of years after that, we opened up SWA, and me and Eric Canyon, who never gets any older. Big Adam Shame, who your viewers will probably better know as Coach Trip. Yeah. We started up SWA, and we started off running Matt Busby's Sports Centre in Bells Hill, and the Clydebank Town Hall. Oh. And we ran there, and then we started running shows elsewhere, and we kind of built up. And then we were putting, not all the time, but towards the end of it, we were putting 500 or 600 in Matt Busby. We filled Clydebank Town Hall a few times with Mr. Renfrew as our bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young face. And then we went on and started running shows in the Kelvin Hall. We filled the Kelvin Hall 2 or 3 times. But yeah. So that's 15 years of wrestling, abridged format.
Do you know, I was about to say, we've got to sit down and do a Braw Cast wrestling special one day. And we really could do one. It's going to be worth doing. I've always said that about the history of Scottish wrestling as well. There'd be a group of folk, get around the table. It'd be 10 hours long. But maybe something to look at down the road. But we got the wrestling career, like I say, an extensive part of your life. But then we sort of segue into another part of your life, because, obviously what we're talking about right now is we've got the Pirate King. Now, I know well, I've got to say, actually, looks like your daughter's watching.
Aye, that's good. It was her birthday a couple of weeks ago, so I think she's just about sobered up now.
She's literally surprised. My dad's on the telly. Good on you. But we've got to segue into, like I say, the kitchen, what have you. What can you put this together? Now, it's kind of frustrating, because I know that you've been a keen cook, an aficionado of culinary arts for years and years and years. I did not think I was going to get that phrase out, Peter, but I managed it. Good for you. And I know that you were putting this Pirate King project together. I hate using the phrase project. I don't want to use brand, but you're putting this endeavor, shall we say, together. I think you maybe first mentioned it to me from about last year. So where did this?
What, a year ago? It's I have an enormous ego, Billy, and I had been out basically. I suppose I've got the same bug as you. I like performing. I like making people happy. I like making people, whether it's filling their bellies or putting a smile on their face. And like most wrestlers, I don't know, Glaswegians, I like a bit of banter. And I've been cooking since I was 8 or 9. I've always loved to cook, and it's some pretty much self-taught. It's some I've always had a hunger to, because when you're on the road, whether it's wrestling or whether it's American football or whether it's a day job or whatever, there's only so much YouTube and porn you can consume before you go. I need to do something constructive. So
two very different types of eating there, if you don't mind me saying, Peter. Two very different types of eating.
So I thought, do you know what? I was talking to Trace. I go, you know what? I've always had a bit of an outside kitchen because I've always loved cooking and loved barbecue and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So basically, it started off as a couple of IKEA stainless steel tables. I had a pizza oven, one of the ones you get at Argos, and I had a big gas grill, and I bought the smoker. And it was great, and we used to have parties at the house, and we'd invite people over, and we'd do big barbecues. We done one for our 25th wedding anniversary. We had about 30, 40 people here. And it was one of those things, 2 o'clock in the morning, absolutely ruined. We should do this every year. So guess what we've been doing every year for 7 years now? No, we had to cancel this year's. But no, I've got a genuine appetite, no pun intended, to learn about cooking. So watch a lot of YouTube stuff, read a lot of books, like to learn new techniques, and then you start breaking down so far. So obviously good friends with the guys down at Donald's the Butchers. You know, so that's a new opportunity to learn and pick up information, because you learn more about the types of meat and the cuts of meat and the animals and all that and what you can do with them. But also, for the sake of the show, can also do the fancy stuff. Can do the sort of Michelin Gourmet toast foam and confit of this and sous vide of that. So so the idea for the show basically came as started watching a lot of cooking shows, and I used to love watching the old ones. The old ones with Marco Pierre White and Kaufman and the original Roux brothers, because they taught you how to cook. You know, even Floyd bluttered out his mind in a boat off the coast of Thailand. Taught you something.
They would never do that these days. Like, honestly, see, our family, we were transfixed as those as kids. Amazing stuff. And I learned so much more from those as well.
But you watch your cooking shows now, and you know, and I'm sure these guys are fantastic chefs, obviously, but they're basically plating up. All they're doing is plating up in the dish, because they go into the oven and they pull out the cooked thing. They go over to the stove and the sauce is made. You know, and there's very little joining up those dots to actually show you how to put that dish together. But of course, if you want to learn, if you want to see it in more detail, you can buy the book or tune into their private this, or you can get this. And it's all people trying to flog shit. You know, and even Saturday Kitchen, which is the model for this is Saturday Kitchen with swearing. But even the guests on it, the guests aren't even that interesting. They're all on either trying to flog a book, do their latest tour, their latest record.
Yeah.
There's nobody there actually enjoying the food.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of celebrity now is kind of comes free in a packet of Kellogg's cornflakes. And you get people on it who are not like the proper celebrities of, 10, 15 years ago, who are used to the better things in life. They're kind of going, oh, what's an avocado? You know, they're not. So the whole point of this, when the original concept was get some genuinely interesting people to sit there for me to cook something that the type of food that they like, but not necessarily something they've had before, have a bit of banter, get a bit of engagement with the audience, and send everybody home happy. So that was the original idea.
And it's something that, as well, what I find so amazing about those streams that you were doing is you're actively encouraging people to go, ask me questions. Ask me questions. I will show you how to cook this here and now. Let's make this. It's like a live workshop, TV show, chat show. There's like everything going on at the one time. And I was trying, the amount of meat you cook on it is amazing. Like, I just like this. You feel that I didn't know that meat porn was a thing, but watching your show, it's just like I didn't know it was a thing. And of course, we're still watching the Pirate King and going, "This is exactly what we want." So, you've always had that interest in life. Do you think that came from family, or was it just an influence of, well, just like cooking, I'm going to pursue this because it's an active interest? Do you think it came from there?
No, it definitely started with family. My grandparents, my granny, used to look after me when I went to school. She was always cooking. She was the type of granny that put mince on it at the back 8 in the morning for your tea, so it's properly cooked, all the way through. My mum was a good cook when she was alive. My dad was a good cook. He liked a barbecue. I think it was him that kind of got me into barbecues. I remember we had this old. He kind of built it out of stone, and it was basically it was a fire pit where I think it was like, you know, the metal grates you used to get outside your house.
Yeah.
We about 2 or 3 of them built into it, and we would cook steaks and all that. So kind of get into the barbecue, the food and fire came through there. I was lucky enough. My dad travelled. Well, both my mum and dad travelled to work, so I got to travel around the world a bit. So I got to try different cuisines. Got to eat in some nice places, and thought, do you know what? I want to learn how to do that at home, and I suppose that's where it came from.
That's amazing. So, do you think that? So when exactly do you think was the point where we're winding down career-wise? And obviously, well, winding out in ring wise, maybe that's the best way, because does a wrestler ever really retire? I'll throw it out there. Does a wrestler ever really retire? So you're winding down the in ring side of it, and you're getting ready. What am I going to do with the cooking aspect of it? Is that where you see your clear path in terms of being an entertainer, or is it a little bit of everything?
I think if I'm going to stick my ugly mug on something and broadcast it to the world, it's going to have to be something like this. In the real world, when we're not having a pandemic and the Armageddon is not going on around us. Yeah. My day job's quite demanding, and so I would have loved if I was younger and funnier, I would have loved to have a go at stand up. But I don't have the time to dedicate, because I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of work, and I don't have that amount. I can cook and I have a kitchen, so I can do this. I do not have a set of material and a career path, and it's something. Yeah, I came back and done a couple of matches a couple of years ago when Scotty was diagnosed with kidney failure.
That's right, yeah.
Done that. That was me clearing out the closet. Have no desire ever to go back in the ring again. That's done. The itch was well and truly scratched, and thanks to the guys at Reckless Intent for scratch that itch. I've done a few biker podcasts with friends, and I was always a better guest than I was a leader. You know, there's a few podcasts out there, and it's always great being the wise arse to somebody else's straight man. But from the cooking point of view, I'm comfortable enough in what I'm doing and comfortable enough in the environment that I wouldn't have to keep stopping to look and see what I'm doing. I'm used to. Although we've kind of got that Italian mentality food in our family. You know, everybody's talking away and cracking jokes and blah 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 blah. So stick the camera in front of me is not really going to make that much of a difference.
All right, okay. So it's got to the point that we're putting the brand out, we're getting this going. Now, you very, very briefly mentioned bikers there for a second. I know for a fact you're a, do we say the phrase king biker? I don't think that, but it's essentially it's a huge part of your lifestyle. Because I think I remember seeing a certain wrestler called Conscience make his interest in a bike at Kelvin Hall. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I'm pretty sure I saw that with my own eyes.
Yes, I got to drive motorcycles indoors, which Wolfie done the same. I think he done it at the Kelvin Hall when he done the gig with the guys from Still Game, and then he done it at the SEC.
Yeah, he's done it. I think, I'm sure he could tell you. I think it might be 3 times. I think there's Kelvin Brawl.
Yes, Kelvin Brawl. Yeah, he phoned me up to say I've driven my bike in the Kelvin Hall. I go, yeah, I done that 10 years ago, mate.
I think he maybe did it at the Barrowlands, and I get a feeling they was definitely at either the Hydro or the SEC. It
was definitely the SEC because it was my bike he was on.
Yes, I get the feeling he maybe tried to do it at the. You know, does it really matter? He can come. Listen, get in touch, Wolfie. We'll sort something out. That's a big part of your life. I know it's a release, but I know there's obviously, you mentioned earlier about, you know, you're having a bubble of friends and what have you just now, and people you're interacting with. And I know you cancelled, like you said, I'd say cook-off. It's not a cook-off. Right. You cancelled your meeting this year. Where did that come from? Because that's obviously been around for a long time, and I know I saw a video of, I think, you just a couple of days back out in the bike just a couple of days ago.
Again, it was one of these things. Since I was a wee boy, I was never really into cars,
right.
And I never wanted a motorbike. I wanted a Harley Davidson. That was it. It was black and white, and then you kind of grow up to the point where you find out how much the bloody things are. And you're like, oh, might have to rethink this slightly. But no, I've been riding most of my adult life.
Right.
Probably, I get my first Harley 97.
Okay.
Maybe 95. Been riding ever since, and it's a different. I know what this is the broadcast, and we have done absolutely no referencing the beards.
We're about to. Don't worry, we're about to.
Yeah, so you get people who are intelligent, educated, employed people who have tattoos, who have beards, who have shaved heads, and you know, when you're in the biking community, none of that matters. It's are you a prick or not? And if you are deemed not to be a prick, then you will have lots and lots of friends. Our little bubble, the absolute fucking delights. We're our own little club within a club, so there's about 8 or 10 of us, but we've got a wider circle of, you know, we could get up to 15 if we put the call in. And
right.
You know, we've got good friends that are in the Clyde Valley Club, the Geordie chapter, Willie G, one of the MCCs in Glasgow, and
yeah,
you know, we have, and it's one of these things. I know it's slightly tribal, whereas everybody's in their own clubs. If you ride a bike, then you know it's up to you to make an arse of it. You know, because you will automatically get friendship from these people because they know you have the same interests and the same approach to life, and you know, 70% of your mental DNA is going to be the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it is a big part of our life. I mean, we go touring. I'm too old and broken now to do the camping thing, and my wife's she's certainly not doing the camping thing. So we tend to stay in hotels or rent a house or a lodge or whatever it is if we go to the rallies. Me and a load of the boys went to Prague 2 weeks a couple of years ago, and rode from Glasgow to Prague and back, which was enormous fun. I can't tell you an awful lot about that because you weren't on the trip, and what happens in Prague stays in Prague. I can't actually tell myself because we were so mortally pissed most nights. You were looking at photographs and go, I remember none of this. But no, it was a fantastic fortnight. Saw some great scenery. during the day and had some bloody flashing things at night, I think.
Because I mean, the thing is I think you said it yourself. It's not. Are you using the phrase brotherhood? Because I know that you guys are so inclusive. It goes into the family side of it as well. It's all about, there's a real element of positivity. Like you say, it's about, if you're a prick in the real world, well, it stops as soon as you put that vest on.
Yes.
It stops as soon as you put that helmet on. You're in with a different family of people now.
Yeah. And everybody's the same. It doesn't matter whether you're a lawyer or a doctor or a CEO or you work on the bins or you swim up and down the Clyde. Doesn't matter what you do. You take your real life face off, and everybody wears the same jeans, the same leathers. It's just you're all the same. You're all brothers, sisters, family.
It's kind of where we find ourselves, obviously, with the Brotherhood as well, and we can move into this type of chat now because, like, what is it? I mean, you'll have
gorgeous segue. Gorgeous segue.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would like to say, if my agent is watching, we need to have some fucking words. But one of the things certainly is we're all about body positivity, and it's a real thing because I think you said it there. I mean, it shows your mindset. It doesn't matter if you've got tattoos, if you're shaving, all manner of things. You're a person at the end of the day, some of the most. But like, you think about even going back to like 1990, you walked down Sauchiehall Hall Street in Glasgow with a big beard this long and tattoos. People thought, well, you're either a wrestler or a rock star. You didn't see anybody like that. And as much as people can talk about being, persecuted or having any things about, I mean, it is, people made that assumption purely based on your appearance. Yeah. But now here we are in 2020 when it's really a sign of positivity, and those boundaries are getting broken down all the time, really, because hey, anyone can grow, well, not anyone, but we all know that for a fact. I'll try and rephrase this in a better way. Anyone can grow a beard. Anyone can grow a beard and then become a part of this. And it is about that body positivity. It is about that, this is me. You'll accept me. I don't have an issue with it. I don't like saying F you, but it is, from body positivity to mental positivity, which is a big thing I know in the biker community all around the country. Do you think it's like a leveling thing, the fact that people have this self-awareness and this accepting of everyone else within these communities? Because the biker community, even the wrestling community and the beard community, there's a real sort of synergy between all these.
Yeah, no, it is. It's, I think the fact of it, the biking thing, because you travel so much and you go places, you don't have an awful lot of time to form long-lasting relationships with these hairy, leather-clad men. So you have to. I think there's an unwritten rule that some certain things need to be taken for read. It's a case of, well, you're on a bike, you're here, we're talking. And as I said earlier, it's up to you to make an arse of it. If you go and demonstrate that you're a prick on a bike, then you will be very quickly ostracised and invited to explore other hobby opportunities, or go play yourself. But no, it's the whole thing about the way people look, and it's that level of acceptance. You can go into a biker bar, or a loadie, you can go into a biker bar, and because you're the biggest guy in the room, covered in tattoos with a big beard, nobody else is going to pick a fight with you, because they're no pricks. But if you go into Glasgow, see, I pound a pinch of shit. You talk to JJ or any of the boys, you go into the bar, and there will always be some not going, can I touch your beard? Or they'll want to go like that and pull it, or something.
I've always found that such a weird thing. I've always found that such a weird thing that anybody would like ever do that. It's like, I mean, I get it with my hair all the time. It's like, oh, geez, I'll go with your hair. It's like, no. I mean, I don't have an issue. Like, the beard thing, I don't get. The beard thing, I don't get. Like, I find really, really, I mean, people have a curiosity, but then sometimes you feel it's like, what? Why are you asking this? Is this to start a fight, or what is it?
You tend to find civilians, three stereotypes, or the three experiences with bikers, usually fall into three different categories. There's the older group who will remember Any Which Way Was Loose with Clint Eastwood and monkey and the bikers, the outlaws from that. So that's one stereotype that we're all wandering about in leather chaps and being complete idiots. The other stereotype is the over romanticized outlaw. I mean, there are outlaw clubs out there, and they do their own thing, and they don't really, take to do with the sort of the weekend warriors, if you like, or the sort of the biker community that just kind of use their bikes for pleasure. That's more the lifestyle choice. And then there's the romanticized version of that, which is Sons of Anarchy. People saw that on the television and think that if you ride a motorcycle, you must be muling drugs and guns to Shettleston, because that's the closest we've got to Mexico. So it's kind of, when we all interact individually, we just find it hilarious. Yeah. But you get people from the outside who think they know about bikers and they think they can be part of the community because they've seen all the seasons of Sons of Anarchy. You're like, well, I've seen all the seasons of Miss Marple, but I'm not out solving crimes. Fuck off. So, and it's you need to deal with that, and people, you're in one of the Hells Angels clubs. You're like, no, it's not. No, we are. There's the outlaw clubs, and then there's the MCC, and then there's the hog chapters, and then there's the riding groups, and there's it's not a hierarchy per se, but there's different groups that do it for different reasons. But you get people with limited experience and limited intellect that make a snap decision. You must be a bad person. You must be doing drugs. Your house must be full of guns and hookers because I saw it on an episode of Sons of Anarchy. And I would never refer to my wife and daughter in that manner.
and the thing is, it could never be further from the truth. It could never be further, just so ridiculous. Well, again, it's another thing. We could literally do a podcast just on that, but we know that.
And a Netflix special, Billy. Don't shoot too low. A Netflix special.
Let's go for it. But as well as that, I mean, obviously we know that loads of guys from all these various chapters themselves find themselves in the Brotherhood. We'll have a little talk about that in just 1 second. But again, if you do have any questions for Peter, here's now the best time to get them in. Just hit me up in the comments. I'll get to as many as I can. One of the things, though, we've got to say, Peter, I mean, obviously you've had various different looks during your wrestling career. And this is just a curiosity question more than anything, but when you started growing the beard and it becoming something that you went, well, this is a look, because there's always a time in a man's life, whether a teenager or what have you, when they start going, this is a look I'm going for. Was there a point where you went, right, let's say, so it's, well, let's go for Conscience, right? Because obviously the Conscience is the best character that you're known for. I don't think you were Peter. Was it Conscience from the start?
Yes, from day one, there was special. I had Kobayashi Maru, which was under a mask, and I wrestled as the Prior under a mask. And I did, when we done our after our shows, I did wrestle as PJ Murphy, the Milf Hammer.
I love it. I fucking love it. Someone right now is trying to repackage that gimmick. I am telling you right now, someone is working on that. But so what was there a point of, because obviously you're a big guy, well over 6 foot. You want that look of intimidation. Did you think that was part of it? Let's go for the beard, because like you kind of said, people, I mean, they must have been terrifying looking individual, being that size, being in a combative, form of entertainment already. Fucking like going, look at the size of this guy, but was it something you went for as part of that?
No, it was kind of, I terrified my daughter a couple of weeks ago, because we actually found photographs for years ago when I had hair and no beard. When I started, I've always had a beard of some description, whether it was a goatee or whatever, pretty much since after I get married. And then it pretty much kept as a goatee, and then Conscience had a variety of silly facial hairs. Not as silly as your mustache that you had going on. Don't think you're getting away with that.
You're more than welcome. I'll level with you. I don't even know why I was fucking growing. There's that one morning I woke up and it was like, I look like the guy off the Pringles tin. I'm getting this to fuck. You know what I mean?
I thought it was a McEwen's Cavalier. That's what
I tried to break it, but then it started getting all weird. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Anyway.
I think once Conscience was always a reasonably short beard because wrestlers are also inherent pricks and people would pull it. Me being one of those pricks, I remember who was it? We used to have anytime I wrestled somebody with a long beard, I always used to give them beard stunner. But I digress. But once I kind of stepped away from
the ring, a beard stunner?
Aye.
Oh,
wrap
fuck.
the beard up and then hit the stunner. And then I think basically when I stopped wrestling, I just started letting it grow, and it never really got that long. It was only about a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to let it grow and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then last Christmas, I shaved it off because what had happened was it was starting to grow that way. Like, it was kind of like an upside down Tintin. I thought, no, I'm not happy with that. So I kind of, now that I've grown it again, I've kind of looked after it a bit better. I've used some of the Braw products and the oils and the proper beard wash and all that, and it's at least it's growing reasonably straight. Still wake up some mornings and it's like a Mad Woman's fanny, but at least now I've got sort of basic understanding of how to control it. I need to get it trimmed up because it's going a bit wispy. But obviously with lockdown, there's no any barbers of that really doing faces at the moment. So, but yeah, no, it's kind of my beard has evolved with me. It's the older I've got, the longer it's got.
It's like a tree. We're going to cut it down the middle and cut the ring.
It's getting to the point now where I now have a beard inside a beard. Because I used to have this kind of like dark blonde sunset ginger kind of thing going on. And then this whole, my moustache and round about here down to my actual chin is now starting to go grey. It's as if I've got a wee grey goatee inside my main beard, and that's kind of keeping it warm. So, I'm not quite sure what I think about that.
Well, loads of people. Well, it's for a start. It's interesting you say about the beard thing because I got a little touch-up haircut the other day, and the guy did turn around and go, "Do you want me to do your beard?" And it was like, "I don't think you're allowed." And he went, "Oh yeah." So I'm not going back to that barber's. Take that for fuck all. But it's looking pretty amazing. Does it take a lot of work?
No, well, yes and no. It's I put a bit of effort in tonight because it obviously was the broadcast. I've got beard soap or beard shampoo that when I'm in the shower, use that on it. I've just recently found out about. I think it was Tommy that put me on it. Was the sea salt spray?
Yes,
because my hair's quite fine, so that lets me kind of strap it down a wee bit, stop it being all kind of and I've used the Braw oils. I used to get the Braw oils when I went to the barbers in Hamilton.
What was your favourite? Yeah, did you have a favourite at the time?
I bought 2 bottles. I bought the one that's Lee's, the big kinks one.
Yes. Yeah,
and I bought the one which is quite minty. I quite like mint and eucalyptus and all that kind of carry on.
I should know that. I get a feeling John's going to be screaming at the screen. But all oils are available, yes. Of course, from brotherhood.com. Make sure to check that out.
But no, the ones that I'm using them now is can't remember. It's I bought them at the bike rally, and it's a guy that makes them himself.
Right.
And I'm using as far as beard soap and the beard butter that I'm using just now, it's Mr. Natty, which is I don't know if that's a good brand. It's what I use, and it works for me.
We've remembered the name of the one, the minty one that you use. It was Arctic Explorer.
There we go.
There you go, big Lindsay Houston remembers that. Well, you know something. What we're going to do is I know you've got a whole bunch of Braw Beard stuff, but we're going to send you a couple as well because we'd love to know your thoughts. You're all looking get you looking very, very sharp. Right.
Right.
One question that's came in though, and this is an interesting question. It's a silly. I would have never considered this up to this point. I know you're out on the bike. How do you maneuver the beard with a helmet?
You have three options. Most of the time, because we live in this subtropical country, we tend to wear, and I think Braw Beard have just started making them. No, the beard snoods.
Beatles, like,
yeah. So they kind of that goes to there, and it holds it down to there, which is great because when you take it off, you look like an absolute trumpet. So that's option one. Once it gets a bit longer, you can sort of put a tie in it, and it's all right. Or if you're not going to be doing a lot of motorway driving, if you're just kind of tooting about and keeping it under 70, you just drive it, and it kind of forms its own centre parting and flaps in the wind. But it's all right. It's all right for me because I'm still at safe visibility with that. But I've got a couple of mates, very similar to the Braw boys, that their beards are starting to get down to here. So when that starts to flap up, it's causing them a few visibility issues.
But right, we've got to ask. I guess we've got to wrap this up. There's still a whole bunch of questions coming in. But first of all, we want to make sure we get this in. The Pirate King TV. Yes. Where is the best place for us to not only find it so we can watch it, but also what have you got coming up? What have you got coming up from Pirate King?
So right now, the best place is the Facebook page because we're not making a lot of content just now. I'll come on to that now, but that's when we're kind of putting updates. It's mostly nonsense and things that we find interesting, and a bit of food porn. We do Instagram as well, but that's basically off the bat. Anything that goes on Instagram ends up on Facebook. Anything on Facebook ends up on Instagram. It's one of those. Facebook owns everything now. The YouTube channel where all the live shows are kind of kept now is Pirate King Kitchen. So plenty of stuff there. I think and we're on Twitter as Pieces to Eat, but haven't done anything with that really. So mostly Facebook page, YouTube, and Instagram. We are currently in the situation where, when we spoke about this earlier, I'm trying to get guests. The format for the show is I get somebody to come down to the kitchen, make 2 dishes. That's 2 episodes. So that's 2 pieces of content. I would like to have 4 or 6 of those in the bag before we start putting them out. Because what I don't want to do is put something out and then nothing for 3 months or 2 months or whatever. So I'm talking to yourself about coming down and doing it. I've got some other people. I just need to start rebook. All my guests were booked, and basically everyone has. I sent an email to Susan Calman. Didn't hear a bloody thing. So if you see Susan Calman, I can assure you a fantastic lunch.
I can assure you, I will not see Susan Calman. I can assure you that. You can ask me why off air.
Another thing. I thought all you comedians kind of all met in a big concrete dome like the Injustice League and stuff. No,
we do.
Yeah. That's another conversation we need to have. Is about comic books. But anyway, so that's what we're doing. I'm trying to get guests. I'd love if you can reach out to JJ and Braw Beard and get him to come down and do an episode.
I know for a fact that I think JJ absolutely bloody love that.
And we'll do. I'll send them up the road with some individually made spice rubs, so he can have Braw bones for his ribs and Braw brisket and Braw butts.
JJ, it sounds like you guys need to talk. There's a whole new range to get done here. Here. Beards and meat. Let's make it happen. Well, look. It sounds like there's a lot coming on, and it's all coming up, and that's going to be absolutely bloody amazing. Actually, loads of people saying like that'd be good to be some Guinness. I think that does sound like that'd be good, some Guinness. And thank you to D.A. Baracus or Da Baracus to put up the Pirate King Kitchen on YouTube. You can check out all the old episodes.
Cool.
Like I think Peter said it very well. It's like an antidote from the Saturday Kitchen stuff that is on that I cannot fucking stand. But I'll tell you this: when you do the live broadcast, I was watching it each and every week, salivating.
I appreciate that.
salivating. But yeah, but now I've put on so much weight during lockdown. I think I'm going to have to go back to just eat nothing but meat because I'm a fat ride. There's no two ways about it.
Tell me about it, mate. Tell me about it.
Okay. Oh, I lost £1 this week, so I'm fucking back to being Diesel. All I've got to say is I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble and I'm planning to win it. Drew, I'm coming for you. That's it. I think what WWE what WWE needs is a 40-year-old comedian with a dodgy hip. I think that's exactly, if Roddy Piper can do it, I can do it as well. Look, Peter, we could have done 4 podcasts during this. There's so much to talk about. But you know something, maybe there'll be a part 2, and certainly if we can get JJ and some of the rest of the Braw boys down, get in touch. Again, if anyone's watching and they want to get in touch with Peter, make sure to check out Pirate King. You can find him on Facebook, and everything branches out from there. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter, I'm going to pop you into the green room, and I'll wrap things up. Everyone,
absolute pleasure. Cheers, Billy.
Captain Off Deck. All right, everyone, we hope you enjoyed the show. Join us next week on Braw Cast. Got an amazing guest. It's going to be Angela Dixon. She is the owner and barber Orbit Smoke Barbers in Edinburgh. Make sure to check that out. You might remember us being one of the judges at the Braw Beard Championships last year. This year. Fuck, it's 2020. What a year. Make sure, check it out. She's going to be on with me next week, and it's going to be so much fun. That'll be 8 o'clock Monday night. But don't forget, you can check out on Spotify, on Braw Beard's YouTube. You can check out all the archive episodes as well. And again, once more, check out our very special guest tonight, who is Peter Murphy, the Pirate King from Pirate King TV. Right, I'm Billy Kirkwood. Whatever road you take home, make sure it's a safe one. And I'm going to see you next week. Will I manage to finish up the episode without looking at it? I've already looked at it. We're kidding nobody. Honestly, if 2020 were a BDSM thing, we'd forgotten the safe word. I don't know what's going on. I'm out of here. See you later. Bye.